A story that's very much in the news, local story, tragic yesterday, a 15-year-old boy out on the South Shore killed by a police officer. And this story now gaining traction because we're finding out, it seems, more and more details. We want to be careful, by the way, when we say we're finding out more, because I know the BEI investigating this is asking the public as well to contribute whatever information it may have, be it video or anything else. The family is not speaking. Fernando Belton is the lawyer for the family of the 15-year-old boy who was fatally shot by police, and he is on the line. Mr. Belton, thanks for your time. First of all, our deepest condolences to the family. As I said, I know they have not spoken on this. I want to get to something I heard and see if you could necessarily confirm this. My understanding was that even after this young boy, their son, was shot, police did not notify the family for almost an hour. Is that accurate?
Well, it's accurate and inaccurate at the same time. It wasn't an hour, it was almost 4 hours and a half after. So you have to understand that the event happened around what we know 3:30 in the afternoon, and it's not before 8 o'clock that the family was made aware that Nuran had been shot. You have to keep in mind also that the event happened 10 minutes from his home. There was a lot of person that was present, a lot of young people that knew Nuran, that was able to maybe give information regarding his state to his parents, but that wasn't made, and that's one of the big questions that is raised by the family, and one of the big issues that they have with the intervention that was done by the police of Longueuil.
If I can go back, obviously people are now finding out about the story. The young man's name, by the way, so we can, in fact...
It's Nuran Rezayi.
Nuran Rezayi, 15 years old. The story, as I understand it, is there were 911 calls made to police at around 2:50 in the afternoon, and I think the way it's being described is young men walking around this particular neighborhood, allegedly armed. Can you pick it up from there? What happened?
Well, that's exactly what you say is correct. Some information was given to a police officer regarding those young men being armed. After that, police officer arrived, and it becomes, at this point, a little bit blurry about what exactly happened, because you have to understand that people giving testimony regarding what happened, we're talking about almost teenagers and kids who are deeply traumatized because they've just seen one of the colleagues being shot and killed by a police officer. And what we know for sure is that those kids were not armed. So it raises the question, why do we have to use lethal force to intervene with the group? Even if, because I know this has been raised in other interview I gave today, even if what we have as information is that there's potentially people being armed, does that mean that every time someone is alleged to be armed, police officer come and shoot? That's not the way it actually goes down. So I think there are questions that the service of police they're going to have to answer to them.
Do we know what spurred the shooting? I had heard a story, again, and you can clarify the fact that this young man, in Nuran's case, was reaching into a backpack that he had on him, and despite the fact he had nothing in the backpack, that's when the shooting happened?
I did hear one person give that version, but we're not able to confirm at this point. But it's accurate to what some people have alleged of what happened.
So I know the BEI, which is the group that oversees the police here, held a press conference this morning. A bit perhaps unusual, but in the best possible way because of what's gone on here and the fact that the family, as you said, wasn't notified for quite some time. What happens next? What's the process now?
Well, the BEI is, first of all, you have to know that the police officer has 24 hours to give every police officer that was implicated in the shooting. We're talking about the police officer that shot, police officer that gave the CPR to the kids. So all of those police officers, they have 24 hours to give their statement. After that, they have to stay ready to give any more additional information to the BEI investigators. So that's something that should have been already done. After that, they will try to talk to as many as people that were present. Yes, the family will will be also contacted to have maybe more background to know why maybe Noran was there at this particular moment. And after that, the decision has to be made whether this police officer will have to face criminal charges or not. But because eventually that's the reason why there's a BI investigation. If something has been done that wasn't supposed to be done in the use of force, they will submit the case to a crime prosecutor that will decide if they will be charging that police officer with criminal charges.
So I also understand that after, items were picked up at the crime scene, there was in fact only one gun found, and it happened to be the gun used by the police officer to kill this young man.
Well, I have a big issue with the term gun being found. A gun used by a police officer is not found. It's a material evidence. It's not like we found his gun on the floor. He's the one who shot Mr. Rezayi. So there was no gun found in the sense of a gun, because I think the way the information was given this morning, it wasn't clear, because it may lead to the conclusion that the kid had arms on them, which is not the case. We're talking about the gun that the police officer used. So I don't think the word found is accurate to actually describe that gun.
So the only gun at the scene, without saying the word found, perhaps, was the one that belonged to the police officer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I said I'm trying to understand the process. So the BEI is now asking people for whatever evidence there may be out there that don't already have. Maybe people were on the street or video. What are you hoping, or what are you expecting comes next?
Well, we're hoping that we can have the full, as much as information as we can get. We know that nowadays there's cameras. There's cameras maybe at their home. Maybe some people had some cars have also cameras. People have their phones. So the family wants answers. They want the light on the event. We're hoping that the story that's going to be told is not only the story that's been told by police officer, but that we can actually have evidence that shows everything that happened from start to finish, and that it's going to be considered to understand that this kid, Mr. Noran, he was 15 years old. It's a tragedy that he lost his life on Sunday.
How is the family holding up?
I'm going to tell you, it's really difficult. I did see them at their home yesterday night, and it's a really, really difficult moment for them. Especially, that's one of the reasons why I'm talking to the press today, because there's a lot of people that actually asking them to come and to comment, and everything is going really fast. There's going to be Noran is going to be buried on Thursday, so they have to live that moment with each other, and after that, answer to try to see what legal recourse that they have.
Okay. I will mention, by the way, my understanding again, the police officer involved here has been placed on leave, right? Is that automatic?
It's not automatic, but I think that's a proper decision to be made in light of those circumstances. Mr.
Belton, I thank you for the time. Again, hope, our condolences, obviously, to the family, and hope there can be some resolution here for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Rand.
Fernando Belton, lawyer for the family of that 15-year-old boy, Noran Rezayi, who was killed yesterday by a South Shore police officer.
Unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Brian Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
or the free iHeartRadio app.